We're singing. We're singing. Time to talk. Beauty and the Bitch.
Hey, Morgie.
Oh, hi. Hey, hi.
Hey, hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm so good. I just love the summer and summer love.
I also love summer love. Anyway, speaking of summer love, I have brought a nice selection of different games. I have Parcheesi, I have Sorry slash Parcheesi, which is like a weird mashup. I brought Monopoly, I brought Cards Against Humanity, I brought Apples for apples, also apples for oranges. Which would you like to play?
Okay, so, but like, what if we got on the phone and we just like call some boys and I just like wonder what they're doing and like, are they thinking about us and like, we should go change our clothes. We need to put some short shirts on right now and maybe we should get some ice cream and then we should call some more boys.
Morgie, like, okay, I get that that's like interesting to you and whatever, but like we're only 31. So, like, let's be the children that we are. And I hauled all of these board games over to your house, and they were quite heavy on my bike, okay?
I'm really shook that you just said we're only 31. How old we are.
I know. Isn't it horrifying?
It sounds really old when you say it aloud.
Oh, yeah, you just turned 31, didn't you?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, my gosh. Happy late birthday, by the way.
Thanks, boo-boo. Happy
You're
late
welcome.
centennial. Weird.
You know, and it's frightening because we used to make jokes like, oh, when we're 36 or whatever. Or did we say 32? God, I can't remember. It's like literally the age we are, and it's not funny anymore. And we knew. In our early 20s, we were like, this joke has a lifespan, and it will stop being funny. Yeah, and it has stopped being funny.
You know what's not funny, though, is Will trying to get his friends to play board games and be children, and all they care about are bitches.
I know. Those boys are fucking girl crazy. And poor little Will Byers just wants to play Dungeons and Dragons. The sweet little baby. He was in a fucking evil alien upside down coma.
He's trying to live.
Yeah. He wants to recapture his former glory just like I do as a 31-year-old. You know?
Basically, we're all Will Byers.
Oh my God.
Our friend Alan was like, wow, I never related to someone more than Will being like, shut up, girl, play this game.
Oh my goodness. Oh, by the way, welcome back everyone to another episode of Beauty and the Bitch. My name is Mick.
And I'm Morgan.
And we're 31!
Yes! Last party.
Let me ask you a question though. So obviously today we're talking about Stranger Things, specifically season 3. And don't worry everyone, we're going to avoid spoilers for the end of the season. So if you haven't finished the season yet, you do not have to pause or turn off the podcast or, shoot guns into our living rooms. We're not going to spoil it for you.
Yeah, that's aggressive and unnecessary, because just turn it off and watch Stranger Things.
Girl, right? But you know how it is in America. Everybody got a gun, and if you have a gun, you have to shoot it somewhere, right?
You have to. It's the rule. It's actually in the Constitution. So that's how that works. But yeah, inevitably we will talk about some details because that's the only way to physically talk about it. So no spoilers, but light conversation involving some details of the current season.
Yes. And literally, I've only watched halfway through the season. So we're going to avoid spoilers wherever possible. But like literally, we cannot spoil it because I will beat Morgan to a pulp with my words.
Guns into my living room.
Yes, I will shoot guns into your bedroom, bitch. I will fuck up your matrimony. Yes, I will.
Girl, mattresses are expensive. You better back off.
I said, that's not what matrimony means. Stupid slut.
Matrimony, that's the money you spend on your mattresses, and don't tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry I called you a stupid slut. That's slut shaming, and I shouldn't do that.
I didn't even hear you call me.
I know. I could tell you didn't, which is why I said it again.
Oh my God, y'all, get you some better friends. You and Will Byers need better fucking friends.
Okay, but here was my question though. Is Will Byers gay? Is that a thing?
He looks like an asexual little creature who's been through way too much. But it's hard for me to say. Like I don't know. What do you think?
Well, now, look, there is a point where, this gag we were making about him wanting to play games, everyone else wanted to talk about girls. That's very real. That's pretty much the whole season, or at least as far as I've seen. Yeah, that's like his main characteristic is he wants to play Dungeons and Dragons. But at one point, he's talking to Finn Wolfhard, whatever his character name is. Mike. Oh, thank you. And he gets mad at them because they just won't play Dungeons and Dragons. He's like put so much work into it. It's really sad, actually.
Yeah, it's so sad.
And Finn Wolfhard, Mike, is like, just because you don't like girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that you mention it, it could just mean like, either he's asexual or he's just not there, in puberty yet,
Which fair. He lived in the nether realm for a minute.
Exactly. Like he's maybe literally younger than the rest of them because of that time he spent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus, I'd be mentally stunted from that bullshit.
Girl, and you know mental stunting. Shit. I was gonna matrimony. Damn. I really wanted to call you mentally stunted, but I fucked it up. Oh well. No. But the look on his face, on little Will Byers' face, when Mike says that. Now I might just be reading too much into this, but it was kind of the look that a little gay boy gets when his friends call out the fact that he's not into girls. But you're right. I might just be reading way too much into that. And he does seem a little bit femme. I will say that too.
He does. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Wow. I don't know. They're going to give us one more season of Stranger Things, and I wonder how they're going to treat Will in that season, because this season wasn't all about him, which was different for him. Because in previous seasons, he was central to like the drama. So I wonder what his growth will look like, and if, how will he mature?
Wait. Hold the phone, though. Did you just say there's only going to be one more season for sure?
Yeah, one more.
Oh, no.
Oh, girl, I think it's time, though.
Oh, well, now, you finished this season, so you definitely know better than me.
They're so fucking huge. Like, when they do flashbacks from, like, season 1, like, little baby 11 with her Eggo waffles, she's like a full teenager now.
Yeah. Let me tell you, girl, I was laughing at these kids because they put them in that 80s garb, and you mentioned the tiny short shorts.
Yeah.
More than anyone, Finn Wolfhard looks a damn fool in those short shorts.
He's kind of crazy looking anyways, but yeah, he looks laughable. But I think the girls look cute as hell.
They do. They are styling. Max and Elle are so fucking cute this season. I'm so into it. And there's a scene where 11 and Max, who's listeners, you may remember, she's a little redheaded friend. She's Billy's little sister. She was introduced in season 2. Mm-hmm. And they go shopping at the mall. And let me tell you, honey, I love 11's style. Everything she picked out, I was like, bitch, you are on it. You look good. Yeah.
She's so cute. And they were so cute together this season because they weren't really, like when they were introduced together, there was like this sort of like, we're the girls that are the friend rivalry thing. But they really came together and matured together this season. And I thought they were really sweet.
I did too. I mean, I think, I've always been the kind of guy, or at least once I entered teenagehood, who had more female friends than male friends. So I did have some great male friends too, but I just think it's always heartwarming when you see two teenage girls connect. Because, I'm sorry, well, you could actually probably speak much better to this than me, but I just know that that's not always an easy time for girls to connect, is all.
Yeah, a lot of girls have trouble with it, and they're the kind of girls that do, right? Like, they both attach themselves to this boy group, and that's why I think they were struggling. But what I love about them, too, is, like, they became these, like, cute friends or whatever, but they're also savage. They're both, like, fuck these boys, woman power, we're doing our own thing. And the boys are like stumped. They're like, but what? What are you talking about? Like, you're here for us. It's our friend group. And they're like, boy, bye. We're having a slumber party.
Mm-hmm. They'd be like, I dump your ass. Finish!
Yeah.
That's some fucking burnt earth policy, honey. Ooh.
Can you believe that these kids they're still supposed, like, but it's summer break now, but like, they're just enrolled in school and like taking class after battling demogorgons? Like, what kind of world?
Yeah. Yeah, because season 3 is it set a year later than season 2? I think like the very first scene is like a flashback to season 2, and I think it says like a year later, right? On the screen
like,
or something.
Right up front it tells you, and it feels like it's about.
But I'm with you. I was like, how is everything this normal? You know what I mean? Like, for one thing, Elle still has powers, which, I mean, I guess maybe if I had a friend who had superpowers, it would just become normal-ish over time, I suppose. But, like, after all they've seen, they seem so normal again. And I have to be honest with you, I don't really buy it completely. But I don't know. What do you think?
And like, Steve got a job at Scoops Ahoy. Like, he's spending his summer scooping ice cream. Like, girl, how?
Steve has a line in the very first episode, so this is not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler anyway, it's just a bullshit throwaway line. But he keeps trying to hit on girls. Because, like, remember, Steve started off as, like, a hot guy.
He's still hot.
He is still hot, but, like, you know, character-wise, he was, like, a hot... You know, he was, like, a cool, like, a popular guy.
Yeah.
He's a popular older boy, you know? Yeah, and in this season, he's pretty much... I mean, for what I've seen so far, he's a fucking goober, really. He's, like, comedic. He's comedic effect a lot of the time, and a lot of his early characterization is about him hitting on girls while trying to scoop ice cream and just failing, just spectacularly failing. And at one point he's like, well, what do you expect? This hat, because he has to wear a hat, is covering up my best feature.
He does have exceptional hair.
Girl, that hair is beyond. It's still so beautiful. Oh, Jesus. Do you remember when I legit thought that was what's his face from Parks and Rec?
John Ralphio.
Yeah. I was very confused.
You were shook. It was great. It was like the best day of my life. I wrote about it in my diary. So you're right that he's kind of a goober, but a sad thing about that is I think he says, like, or like a girl, like somebody says it, like, he's kind of a goober because, like, high school's over and other people are moving on and going to college, and he is, like, working at Scoops Ahoy. And they're like, you have graduated out of, like, being the cool boy, and now this is, like, the first thing you've chosen to do with your life, and, like, girls are not impressed.
Well, it's also that thing of, like, I've known people, both in high school and in college, who graduated, and I'm not trying to be cruel at all, because some of these people are dear friends, people I really love, but you got the definite feeling that they don't fit into the real world as well as they fit into the school experience, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, I'm just going to be vulnerable and say, I did much better in school than I did in the real world, I think, personally. It was easier for me in school. Once I got into the real world, I was like, oh my God, no one cares that I'm smart. And essentially, I mean, that was my life. I was like, damn. And how long can you ride being valedictorian? I've already written it into the damn ground, girl. I go on Tinder and I say, I'm valedictorian. Will you date me? And don't nobody swipe right. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I was valedictorian, though.
Oh, man, you and Steve, one and the same.
Oh, girl. Okay, so I would just like to take a short moment. I know I interrupted you once again. I would just like to say justice for Barb. Remember Barb. Barb is not forgotten. Barb is my hero. Barb is a goddess. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah, Nancy was a bad friend.
I know that was all the way back in season 1, but Barb's still my favorite fucking character, and I am not ashamed to admit that.
Dude, season 1 was lit. People love it for a reason. Barb was what's up.
So, Queen, now tell me, have we done a Stranger Things episode before? Is this our first one?
Oh, that feels weird. I feel like, how have we not talked about it?
I'm gonna pull up the podcast app and just check. I think we've talked about it, but like in pieces of other episodes. You know what I mean?
That's weird. We talk about so much bullshit, it's hard to keep track of it.
I know, girl. Even we can't keep track of all our bullshit. Okay, let's see. So I'm just scrolling through. While I'm scrolling, Morgie, do you think, what can you remember from season 1? I know that was a long time ago. You weren't 31 then, but.
So season 1 was such a phenomenon because it's this nostalgia comedy horror. Because I feel like it hit the scenes and everybody was like, wow, we've never seen anything like this. It's not super low budget, but it's like lower production. Like everything's a little more chill. It's full of kid actors, so it has this kind of Stand By Me vibe that's like really cute, right? These like little best friends, and D&D is central to their world. And then they introduce this concept of like there being like this upside down multiverse, like this other universe that's like underneath or like within ours that could be opened, and these sort of D&D horrors like the Demogorgon could actually exist in real life. And it just was fascinating. And on top of that, it was like an 80s drama of like, it was like a family and friends drama. Like you had all this family drama going and like all this like cute friend shit, and then you had like teenagers like trying to like have sex and live their life, and it was just like so fresh. It was just this beautiful fresh piece of thing. And then on top of that, you met Eleven, who was a supernatural bitch. Like she was such a breakout superstar. Like every bitch was 11 for Halloween that year. Like she was at every Halloween party.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown. So cute.
So, Morgie, we have done a Stranger Things episode. Episode 21.
Wow.
Okay. October 23rd, 2017. We talked about season 1 with Sarah Pants.
Yes. I bet that's a great episode.
I bet it is too. And y'all, if you haven't heard it, look, you want to guess how long this episode is, Morgan? Take a guess. Oh, shit.
2 hours?
Yes!
We used to talk a lot.
You know what, Queen? It used to be easier because we would have a couple of bottles of wine and sit in my bedroom and just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
These days, we have to make it happen, honey.
We also were really gung-ho back then and did like insane research and prepared all kinds of bits and segments. And now we're old and crusty.
Well, you're old and crusty. I still do a lot of research, bitch. That's not true.
Every episode of Stranger Things, I did research.
You're right, because you know what? We just, this is off topic. I'm sorry, listeners. But we just did our Spider-Man Far From Home episode because we're doing a double recording today. And you know what? A couple years ago, I literally would have watched every Spider-Man movie to prepare for that episode. I would have.
Yes.
Genuinely. And you know what I did? I watched 3/4 of Into the Spider-Verse and played on IMDb for a while and called it done. So I'm sorry.
That's pretty good.
I mean, you know what? You know what I realized, though, is our episodes used to be too full. Not just lengthwise, but like we were like spitting facts like nobody's business. And
we were very smart.
Yes, and I think people were like, these motherfuckers are trying too hard. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Personal feedback.
Yeah, so we've like relaxed into it, and now we can just do a nice, fulfilling shit and get off the pot, you know?
Yeah. That's what we're here for. We're just a little taste of chit-chatting about things that you love.
Exactly. Okay, so Morgan, I'm sorry. I took us all off topic. So, okay, you remember a lot more about season 1 than I do. I remember a little Will gets possessed. There's a slug up in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, is that season 1 or season 2? Season 1, right?
Will?
Oh, shit.
Will? I don't think he gets... No, he doesn't get possessed. He gets possessed in season 2. He gets taken. He gets taken in season 1. Remember,
Yes.
he rides his bike home and he goes missing, and that's the central mystery.
Yes, and the Christmas lights. That's
Yeah.
a big thing.
Oh, classic. With, like, the
Mhm.
letters on the wall, the Ouija board bullshit. Oh,
Mhm.
so good. Winona Ryder making a fucking comeback.
It's so good to see, man. That is one of the most satisfying aspects of Stranger Things to me, is seeing Winona Ryder just be just gorgeous and funny.
She's so good.
And touching. We talk a lot about the kids for obvious reasons because they're the true protagonists, I think. Though over time, Winona and police chief man Hopper, yeah, they've become more central, I think.
Yeah.
But I think Winona Ryder is really one of the hearts of this series. She's so fucking good.
She gets top billing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she deserves it. Heck yeah.
Yeah, she does a great job. But yeah, that's right. Will gets kidnapped. I totally forgot. Yeah, and then that's how Nancy and Will's brother kind of get together because they're like, we gotta find Will, and like, yeah.
Oh yeah, because at that time she's with hot boy good hair. What's his name?
Steve. She's with Steve.
She's with Steve. Yeah. Oh, and then don't they get into a fight at the end? And Steve gets his ass kicked? Is that season 1?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a running joke that Steve loses every fight. Dustin, he forms a really great friendship with Dustin in season 2, which carries over into season 3. Steve and Dustin are great together, but Dustin always brings up how Steve gets his ass kicked in every fight, and Steve's always like, bro, chill.
Right. I don't know. I'm really loving Steve in season 3. I've liked him since the beginning, but he's really good this season, and I'm kind of living for him.
Season 3 is good, and they did some really good pairings in season 3 instead of like sticking with the traditional stuff of what they had done, and carrying over. Dustin and Steve are great, and then they introduced the little sister named Erica that's like so sassy. She's more in season 3, and everybody is so here for it. There's so many good Erica memes because Erica's like, I ain't got time for your shit.
Yeah, Miss Erica wants her free ice cream samples, and she wants them now.
Wow.
She knows about capitalism. Yeah, I fucking love her. Avoiding spoilers, of course. Is she throughout the season?
She is. Yeah,
okay.
She's pretty prominent, and she is deeply hilarious, and I enjoy her.
So I'm assuming then that she's going to be prominent in season 4 too. She's going to be like a new recurring cast member, or a more recurring cast member. I hope.
To be honest, the way they left season 3, I have no idea what season 4 is going to be about because some shit goes down.
Shocker.
I have no clue what's that next season, but I'm here for it. But I do think it's time to wrap it up. I think that season 2 wasn't as good as season 1, and so people were worried about season 3, and they did a good job. Like, I think it's better than season 2, so they're going in the right direction. But they can't keep going on with like trying to drag out this Demogorgon bullshit and the Upside Down because it's very like in It, like Derry has all this like supernatural stuff, but like how long can we talk about Derry being like this crazy place before everybody's like, well, just fucking move.
Yeah, get the fuck out of Derry, honey.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I agree with you. First of all, season 1 and what I've seen so far of season 3 are definitely better to me than season 2 was. What is season 2 where Elle goes through her emo phase, or is that in season 1?
Nope, that's season 2.
Okay, so I remember that she like runs away and joins a gang of like other outcasts from the science community that she grew up in, or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, like briefly for like one episode.
Yeah. And then she closes the hole when she's all emo. And the only reason I remember that is because of the recap of beginning of season 3.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That was pretty boss. That was like a pretty good ending. Like she's like a power bitch and she's like, I got this. I think the homages in season 3 are better than season 2. Like they did a lot of like that grungy stuff. Like it was a very grungy 80s homage. And I think in season 3, they're back to like, all of our favorite shit from the 80s, like all the whimsical stuff, they're kind of like referencing again, and it's just like softer.
I agree with that. Well, now, because the kids are pairing off and like romance is a thing and teenage romance and like they're kind of, I just dropped my cigarette out the window. Holy shit. Oh, well, it's just going to have to be there. They're more referencing kind of like, or at least to me, it felt like, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, those kind of like relationship teenage movies of the 80s. Did it feel that way to you, or am I just not far enough into it?
I think there's a lot of that, and then I think the further you get, you'll see some stuff that's more like classic, like childhood 80s, because I think that they start this season being like, we're so grown up, like we have boyfriends and we have drama and like whatever, and then I think they get back to a place at the end where they're like, we're missing our childhood, there's too much going on, everything is crazy, and they try to like embrace the goodness of being young.
Oh my god, that's just like us. We're not 31. We're just children.
We're just children.
Oh.
So I just had a thought while we were talking. What if season 4, what if they do some wild shit and they do like an homage to It, and they grow up all of the, and then they do like flashbacks. Wouldn't that be fucking fun?
That's fucking great. I hope they steal that idea from you, give you no credit, and make a great season 4.
That would be so on brand though, because it's so much like homage to like all the shit that they liked. Like that would be really good.
Yeah, that's a great fucking idea, Morgan. Kudos to you, girl. That is a good idea.
I hope they do that.
It's gonna be confusing as hell for old Finn Wolfhard though, because he's literally in the It franchise and in Stranger Things, so he's not gonna know where the fuck he is with his long ass lanky legs.
And he's got a potty mouth, so I respect him.
You know what? Okay, here's my question. We'll get back to season 2. We'll try to remember some stuff. But so speaking of the kids, what are your predictions for what these kids are going to grow up into? Is there one that you think is going to become a drug addict? Let's start with the darkest, meanest shit. Because we are Beauty and the Bitch, after all. We're country.
I think Will is the natural nominee because he's seen too much.
Oh, yeah. Little Noah Schnapp, huh? So you're dooming Noah Schnapp to drug abuse, is what you're saying.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know, you're so cruel. You're so hateful.
I don't want to. But I think the one who's going to grow up to be really fucking hot is Dustin, though.
Dustin? Which one is that?
He's the curly-headed one who has no teeth.
Oh, Galen Matarazzo?
Oh, yeah. He's going to get that glow up.
I think that Finn Wolfhard might grow up to be... He looks a little bit like young Adrian Brody to me. So, well, I guess it's debatable whether or not Adrian Brody's hot. But to me, he's hot. So...
Yeah, he's definitely weird looking in that way that seems like he'll age into like a beautiful creature. But only time will tell.
I could see Finn Wolfhard becoming like an indie heartthrob. I could see that happening.
Could be.
I think Galen might have a chance to become a hottie too. I think Millie Bobby Brown is going to have a record. Is going to have an album.
Really? Is
yes. She can sing really well. I mean, you've heard her rapping Nicki Minaj's Monster, right?
I don't think I have.
No. Oh, she did it on what's that late night show with that guy from Saturday Night Live? What's his name? Yes, Jimmy Fallon. On Jimmy Fallon, she raps, like, she does, like, a piece of Monster. And, I mean, granted, that's like karaoke, but it's good. And then I've heard her sing on other videos and stuff, and she's got a good voice. Like, when they introed the Oscars or the Emmys or some kind of shit, maybe last year, and Millie Bobby Brown has some pipes. She does.
Okay, I'm going to Google that. I'm looking it up now. I'm going to watch it after we're done here.
Okay. Yeah, it's quite good. I mean, I was impressed. What about good old Caleb McLaughlin? I forget his character name. He's the little black boy, or a boy of color, if you prefer. What is his name? His character name?
His character is a little bit of a dick.
Lucas. Yeah.
Lucas.
They're really leaning into him being like a dicky teenager, I think. You know? Like there's a part where he's like explaining to Mike like how girls are and like how to like handle relationships and stuff. And he very much is like, I kind of feel bad for him because I feel like his characterization is not great.
Yeah, it's boring.
It is. And I mean, yeah, we've got oh shit, what's his little sister's name? Erica. We've got Erica. She's what? I'm sorry.
She's such a star. I think she's gonna be like a kid actor. Like she's gonna do fine.
I agree. I mean, she's amazing. I'm very into her. I think she's so funny. So we've got a person of color with good characterization there. But correct me if I'm wrong, they're the only two black people in the show.
The only two that I know.
Yeah, and Caleb's supposed to be a main character, and I just feel like he has been consistently overlooked with characterization.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't get anything good to work with. That's a bummer. I hope he goes on to have like better opportunities.
I hope so too. So him to me, honestly, he's kind of a question mark, and that's because I just feel like they haven't given me enough to be able to even bullshit predict what he's going to do and be, you know?
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel the same way.
It's kind of the same. Okay, so Noah Schnapp, drug addict. Galen and Finn, heartthrobs. Caleb, question mark, fighting systemic racism. And Millie Bobby Brown, the next Lady Gaga.
I love it. She's already got a following. What about the girl who plays Max?
Sadie Sink. I think she's going to be a drug addict too.
You think so? Maybe she'll bounce back the way Drew Barrymore did, though. Like, hopefully she doesn't go the Lohan route. Hopefully she's a Barrymore kind of drug addict.
Yes. And for the record, let's say they're all going to be Barrymores, because I don't want to wish a life of Lindsay Lohan on nobody. No. Sadie Sink. Honestly, I could see her being an actual, just like actress, like a straight up actress. I think she's really good.
Yeah, I like her name too.
It's a good name. I wonder if that's her real name, Sadie Sink.
It's a great name.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. I mean, I know it's kind of maybe a lame thing to say because, yeah, she's got gorgeous red hair, but she has gorgeous red hair.
She does.
Maybe she might grow up to be like an avant-garde model, like a runway model.
I was just gonna say, because she's not like a natural, like typical, like pretty girl, but she has like such a striking face. She would make a good model.
Yes, and that goes well with drug abuse anyway. So
that's perfect.
Yeah.
let's write to her agent and let them know we figured it out.
Yeah. I'm sure they're all going to appreciate all the lovely, sensitive things we have to say about their futures. Yeah.
Well, another person I'm really fascinated to see where she's going to go is Winona. Because now that we're having the Winona-sance, like, I think that she needs to be choosy about what she takes, but I think she needs to take something.
Yes. I hope that she stays with, like, indie stuff. I mean, it would be well, whatever. It's her life, and I'll support her because I love me some Winona Ryder. But, like, if she ends up being, like, in the third Marvel, like, MCU franchise or whatever, like, that's going to be kind of a letdown to me, personally. I would love for her to continue doing like dark, independent, like gritty kinds of things. I just want her to work consistently, really.
Yeah, but that's her roots. Like that is where she came from, and like she just belongs in that kind of environment. She thrives there.
Absolutely. I mean, when I think of Winona Ryder, these days I think of Stranger Things, but mostly I of course think of Heathers, right? I mean, I don't know if I'm alone.
Wasn't she in Beetlejuice?
In what?
Beetlejuice?
She was, yes. That was probably one of her first things, I imagine.
Yeah.
She was young in that.
Super gritty, super dark, super iconic.
Yeah, there's just something about her that it just really lends itself to those kinds of projects. So I would love to see her. You know what? I think she should team up with, what's his name? Us and, that director. He directed Us and
Peele.
What's his name?
Jordan Peele.
Yes, my queen. I want her to star in some Jordan Peele movies because I feel like their styles would be fabulous together.
Yeah. I wonder if she's easy to work with.
I don't know. I would say Winona pre-shoplifting and post-shoplifting, straight up no jokes, is probably a different person.
Yeah.
But I imagine she may have been difficult before because obviously she was doing some drug abuse, no shade there, and she was like a star. And then she got humbled on the world stage in a really big way.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that changed her, because she does seem a bit different to me as she's aged. She does seem more approachable and like she's got a kindness and softness about her
Yeah.
that at least on screen I hadn't seen when she was younger.
And she's still so stinking cute. She's just like a little Polly Pocket.
She is so beautiful. How old is she, do you think? I'm going to look it up.
I bet she's like 50.
No, you think so?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean,
Okay, let me see.
was fully in like the 80s.
She was born in 1971, so it's 81, 91, 2001, 2011. You're right, she is almost 50. Holy shit, she's in her late 40s. Damn, Winona Ryder, how do you do it?
Yeah, it's the drugs. They keep her young.
Oh, she was also Jo March in Little Women.
Yes!
Yes.
That was a really good version. And they're doing a new Little Women, and Emma
Stone?
Hermione. No, Emma Hermione.
Oh, Emma Watson.
Yeah, she's in it, and there's like a bunch of other really good bitches, and I like cannot wait because Little Women is such a formative book for little women, and it's such a classic story. I stand for Little Women. I'm ready for a remake, and that one with Winona was good as fuck.
You know what, Queen? You're not alone in that. Shout out to Jessamine Fitzpatrick, our friend of the pod, who's been on the podcast a few times. Once. She's been on once, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Jessamine and also my friend Allie. They fucking love Little Women. And you know, normally as a gay man, I'm like, ooh, I love the things that the girls like genuinely. But girl, I'm not with y'all on this one. Don't come at me with Little Women. Don't come at me with the manuscript in the fireplace or the constant raining or any of that shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Fragile Ice? What about the Fragile Ice, Mick?
Girl, don't go walking on the fragile ice. That's all I can say to you. I don't know why your stupid ass is out there walking, little woman.
That's fine. We don't need you on Team Little Women. There's no room for you anyway.
I mean, that's genuinely true. It's like Team Pride and Prejudice. Who gives a shit if I don't like it? Y'all don't need me.
That's fair. That's fair, but I try not to take that personally. So it's cool. Nobody likes it. It's old school. It's fine. It's whatever.
Lots of people like it. I just hate it, and I meant it as a personal slight, so please take it as such.
No, but I love it.
I know you do. I'm glad you love it. Look, ain't nobody going to talk about the Fountainhead with my ass except some goddamn Republicans. So, it's like we all have our things.
That's true.
I think more people like Pride and Prejudice than like the goddamn Fountainhead. So, no judgment really.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, people don't like Ayn Rand. People be hate on her.
Well, it's because this is so off topic, but I'll just say my piece real fast. Ayn Rand had a lot of problems. She hated gay people, for one thing. So look, I can look at her and see her problems. But you know what? The Republicans and the conservatives done run with objectivism. And it's, you know what? I get it. It allies itself pretty easily with conservative and Republican policies. But as a very liberal person, I find a lot to love in those books. And people just cannot believe it. I think I've given people 20 or 30 strokes telling them I like Ayn Rand. But her characters are so heroic and they're so strong and beautiful. It's like they're all carved out of granite and they're just, when I feel weak, I reread those books and they make me feel strong. So, take it for what it is,
When I feel weak, I reread Pride and Prejudice and then I get swoony over Mr. Darcy.
And I don't judge you for that to your face. You know what I mean? It's like, it's totally fine.
It's fine.
Okay, so we've bullshitted all around the world. It was my fault, I'm certain. What do you remember about season 2, Morgie?
Basically that emo shit, and then that Will gets what's it called? Where the monster is inside of him? Possessed.
Oh, that's when he vomits that slug out his mouth, right?
Yeah, yeah, he has some gross stuff. And then I also remember Winona, who plays Joyce, gets herself a man, and it's Samwise Gamgee.
Girl, where did she find the little hobbit ass man?
Girl, she
Mr. Sean Astin.
Oh, he's so cute.
I love to see Sean Astin on Stranger Things because obviously he was in the Goonies, so
Yeah.
he was already like an 80s, like he belongs in this show, you know?
Yeah, he and Winona are both like 80s nostalgia, so it's just like it's like so meta to just like drop them in this universe.
Absolutely. So he's around for a bit, but we haven't mentioned who I think is the most important new character in season 2. Oh, hot ass. Now, how do you say his name? Dacre Montgomery?
Oh God, I have no idea. I have no idea what his name is.
It's spelled Dacre. And I don't know how to pronounce that, but I think it's pretty. And girl, porn stash, bully, whatever, I don't care. I would fuck him.
Yeah,
Ooh,
he is
Jesus.
sexy as hell, but oh my God, he is a horrible person.
Oh, the worst. I mean, beyond the worst.
But
yeah.
damn, he's fine.
You know what? I feel like he would try to strangle me to death after we fucked, and I still might go for it.
Yeah, he's got something special. And I actually haven't like bothered to look at photos of him in real life. Like, is he only extremely sexy with his weird 80s mullet and like this grungy thing he's got going? Like he's a bad boy, or like in real life is he also still sexy?
Well, now, I think he's fine in real life, too, but my little sister, Sharina Star Parker, we were talking about this, because, everybody be watching Stranger Things, and she thinks he looks like when Shrek turns into a human. And she showed me, and I don't think she made that up, because there was a meme for it, but she showed me a side-by-side, and I have to tell you, there is some resemblance. I shan't lie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what he's got, though, beyond his devilish good looks? He's got that swagger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you cannot teach a person that. Like, he just has it.
To me, he definitely has big dick energy. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but...
Oh, that 100%. That's exactly what that is.
So fine. Oh, he's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And he... in season 3. I mean, he becomes a main... well, antagonist, I suppose.
Yeah, he's very heavily featured in season 3, and turns out he's still hot.
Except when he be wearing completely coveralls, when he be covering his whole body up,
he
sitting
definitely
out by the pool.
Looks better with less stuff. Less stuff around the pool is the way to go.
Yeah, he needs to be as close to naked as possible. Oh my God, I love him. Oh shit. And I used to think, damn, what's his name? Not Billy. Who's the one with the good hair?
Steve.
Why can't I remember poor Steve? Poor Steve. When we did season 1, I was like, ooh, Steve can get it. And now I can't remember the poor boy's name. It's so sad.
I love him. I love him in his Scoops Ahoy outfit. He looks like such a nerd. I live for it. And by the way, Scoops Ahoy, 100% going to be the #1 Halloween costume of this year.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's super easy and hilarious.
Yeah. I want to do that.
So, like, that's... okay, and then in season 2, they go back into the facility or whatever. I remember that because someone important dies there. Maybe I won't spoil it. I don't know. It was last season. Y'all should have seen it, but I'll try not to spoil it. And why did they even go back in there, girl?
Cause something... it was like they had to do something in the facility to get the monster out of Will, and then they had to close up. There was like a fissure. There was like an opening.
Oh, yeah.
They had to close it, so they had to go back in.
Yeah, there was like a giant anal fissure, and it was just spewing just nastiness. Yeah. I remember that. Okay.
They had to get in it.
You know what, though? Overall, I mean, look at us trying to remember anything from season 2. I really feel like season 2 was a bit of a stumble. I'm not gonna lie.
It was like fine, but it was such a letdown after season 1. So honestly, season 3 I think is it's so refreshing because it hits the mark and it like brings it back to the goodness of season 1 Stranger Things, but it also steps it up with like character development and they've all grown so much and they have really great chemistry, and they're just fucking delightful to watch together.
They really are. And listeners, I will say, if you're watching season 3 and you're finding it a bit slow, I will say I found the first couple episodes.
Hello? Nikki, did I lose you? Are you gone now? Can you hear me?
It picks up, and girl, it picks up fast. Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can. I heard something beeping like you're in a submarine at the bottom of the ocean or something.
Oh, that's weird. It just went silent for a while, but you're back now.
Oh. Well, okay, listeners, in case you didn't hear my beautiful opinion, it starts off a bit slow in season 3, but around the midway point, it really does pick up very quickly. And once it picks up, your face is like blown back. That shit happens fast.
I agree. Yeah, it starts out slow, like, yay, summer break. Everybody's like doing their own thing. But then shit gets in a rhythm, and we get the good pairings, and the plot really picks up, and lots of character arcs happen. And also, like, without spoiling, like, there are several deaths this season that are really going to shape the next one.
I just remember something from season 1 that pissed me off. You remember when Nancy done crawled back into that fucking tree?
Girl.
Do you remember that in season 1?
I do. Nancy kind of dumb.
You know what? Now Nancy has a big part in season 3 too, along with her boy Will's older brother, Jonathan, who is also hot in his own right, I think. But
yeah, he's weird looking, but he's cute.
I like the weirdos though. You know, I'm into the weird looking boys. I'm not mad about that. But I am not into Nancy. It's not the actress's fault. I don't know, man. She just doesn't pull me in, and she's got a pretty interesting storyline in season 3. But damn, man, I just couldn't.
I will say that girl that plays Nancy though, she's cute as hell.
Oh, she is good looking. She's very good looking. Very much so.
She really pulls off that 80s style too.
Oh, yeah, she looks so good. She's stunning. Yeah, don't get me wrong about that. And like I said, it's not the actress. I think she does a good job with the role, but I mean, Nancy she's a privileged character, and that's fine. Privileged people exist. Privileged characters are fine. But there's just something about her in comparison to essentially every other subplot. She's the last one I would want to watch, personally.
That's fair. I kind of feel that way.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. There is a scene, and this is not a spoiler, but it's Nancy and Jonathan talking. And I wanted to pull it out because it really touched my heart. I thought it was so beautiful. Without spoiling anything, some bad shit goes down for both of them, and it's because of something that Nancy does. And she and Jonathan are driving home in his car. He's driving her home, and they're trying to explain to each other why they're both hurt, because they both sort of suffer from the fallout of her actions. And Nancy says to Jonathan, she's talking about kind of what it is to be a woman in 80s America. And Jonathan is talking about what it's like to be a white trash kid in 80s America.
Yeah.
And Nancy is like, you just don't know what it's like. And then Jonathan looks at her and he's like, neither do you. And I know that's simple. That's such simple dialogue. But I feel like it's so timely to today because you get two oppressed groups of people together. And because of all the oppression and the repression and the trauma and the pain, it makes it very difficult sometimes for us to communicate because we both know pain, we both know oppression, but we don't know what it's like to be the other person and what their oppression's like. And I really appreciated them putting that in. It really spoke to me, and I thought it was a very powerful moment between two characters that normally I don't really care that much for.
I also think that we haven't talked about this at all, but like Winona being this like single mom and like Will is the poor friend. Like all of his other friends are really well off. Like Mike's family is fucking rich. Like they live they're like super hella upper middle class. Like, they have all of the money. Like, his dad makes six figures in, like, the 80s. Like, it's a big deal. And fucking Joyce is over there just, like, getting by, running that little store that she runs. And she just loves her. She has the best relationship with her kids out of any of those fucking parents.
Well, she's the only one that's really present.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the others are there, here and there and gone and just here for a second, but she's a main character. She's, like, involved, you know?
And she's just this little, technically, like, white trash mom who's, like, being a good fucking mom, like, being there for her kids, solving mysteries when her kid gets taken into the Upside Down, and being like, I don't accept that he was kidnapped. He's coming back. Like, it's just, like, the perfect comeback role for her. Like, nobody could have played this role except for Winona.
100%. 100%. She's so good. Winona Ryder, heart of my heart. I'm so obsessed with her.
So good. So good. I just love Stranger Things. Like, it's like Netflix has been pretty turnt with the content. Like, they're just consistently doing badass stuff, but Stranger Things is probably one of their most iconic things that they've ever put out, and I think that it deserves that stature. I think it's fantastic.
I 100% agree. And even though I see your point with, like, maybe it needs to end and then, like, it's run its course, I'm actually pretty bummed to hear that there's only going to be one more season because, I don't know, it just touches a special place in my heart, especially for us, right? Like, we're of the age where, like, we grew up on 80s nostalgia anyway, being 90s kids. Mm-hmm. And I think definitely, like, our older siblings who were around in the 80s probably also love it, you know, for that reason, similar reason. Yeah. And I don't know, man. When it goes, I'm gonna feel the loss. Truly.
Oh, it's really good stuff. It's good shit, Netflix.
Yeah.
Glen Coco.
2 for you, maybe 3 for you, Glen Coco, but no more than 4 for you, Glen Coco. So, Morgan, how would you rate, because you've seen the whole season, how would you rate season 3 on maybe well, you decide your scale.
I give it 8 out of 10 Demogorgons.
Ooh, that's a lot of Demogorgons.
I know, you better watch out, girl.
I should think that's too many Demogorgons, actually.
And I give season 1 a 10 out of 10. So I just put it, I think it's like the second best season. And I think it's really good. And I think I give like season 2 like 5.5 out of 10 Demogorgons.
I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that. Yeah, because season 2, it wasn't horrible. It just had a lot to live up to. That's all.
It did. And it's always like, that's why Harper Lee never wrote a second book. She's like, you can't live up to the hype, so don't even try.
Girl, and then she done died, and they done published that shit.
That was rude.
I refuse to read that. I'm not reading it. She didn't want it to be read, so I'm not reading it. And also, it destroys, what's his face? The dad character. It destroys him. Yes! Why the hell would I read that shit? Makes me so goddamn mad.
I'm staying away from it, too.
Go set a watchman. Don't go set a watchman.
Don't do it. Just go kill a mockingbird.
Yeah, exactly. It's much better. So, Morgie, do you have a plug for this week?
Oh, Lord. I would like to plug Summertime in Austin, Texas, which is a really hard time because it's hot, but it's a really great time because you should go to Deep Eddy Pool, where I have been going, and it's so fun, and it's so Austin, and it's a great place to cool off.
Austin has a series of really amazing swimming holes, right? There's like Barton Springs, Deep Eddy, Hamilton?
Hamilton Pool. There's a lot of stuff on the outskirts, like the Blue Hole and Wimberley and Jacob's Well, and just like the whole Greenbelt is, and like it rained a lot this year, so the Greenbelt is thriving.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've moved away from Austin these days, listeners. I know you know, Morgie, but I have so many good memories of like laying out drunkenly in the sun beside some water in Austin. That's the way to do it, man, if you're in that city.
It's pretty good.
Well, speaking of Austin, actually not at all, probably. I have been listening to a new podcast, new to me, I should say. There's a whole season of it out right now, and it stars Macaulay Culkin.
What?
Yes. It is called the Bunny Ears Podcast, and it's just like an interview podcast, you know. He does it with like a friend, and they bring people on, whatever. But I recommend it to anyone who's got 80s, early 90s nostalgia because, you know, we think of Macaulay Culkin, we think of Home Alone, duh, obviously. You might also think of Saved, which he was in the early 2000s. But I think of Party Monster. Have you ever seen that, Morgie?
Oh, yes, girl.
Oh, that shit's good. And you know, he plays, oh, fuck, what's his name? Oh, my God. I know his name. He plays a club kid, Michael Allen? Michael Allen?
Girl, I can't remember.
He plays a club kid in the 90s in New York who, real life story, was sent to prison, just recently got out a few years ago for murdering his drug dealer.
Been there.
All right, who hasn't? Yeah. Michael Alec, that's his name. Yeah, Michael Alec. Actually, Michael Alec has a YouTube channel, which you can look up, and is frankly horrible, but that's not the point of this plot. Anyway, and Macaulay Culkin sounds like Michael Alec. Like, when I am listening to him talk on this podcast, I don't know if he's grown into a person who sounds like Michael Alec, or if that Party Monster role, like, really influenced his development. But that boy sounds coked out as fuck all the time. But it's not sad, though. But it's just interesting. If you remember Macaulay Culkin as a small child or whatever, you should check out the Bunny Ears podcast because he is grown and he's bad. He's a bad boy.
Yeah, and he's had quite the arc. People were worried about him.
Yeah, they were. Well, he got arrested for coke, didn't he, at some point? I think.
Sure. He had to have. Just look at him.
Yeah, right. Well, and there's all that shadiness with, like, Michael Jackson. People like, Macaulay Culkin, girl, he did never hit on you. And Macaulay Culkin says he didn't. I don't know if it's true or not. But anyway, the podcast is really fascinating. And Macaulay Culkin obviously runs in very rarefied circles, the likes of which trash like us will never be part of. So it's interesting to listen to him talk about essentially anything, honestly. I recommend it, the Bunny Ears podcast.
Awesome. And while you're checking out that podcast, be sure you are liked and subscribing to Beauty and the Bitch. And go ahead and rate us while you're in there. Give us a 5-star review.
Yes, don't come at me with no 4-star review.
Yeah, because we're really busy and that hurts our feelings, okay?
Uh-huh. I will chop you up and snort you up just like Macaulay Culkin with a baggie of coke.
Y'all, and he means it, so be careful.
I mean it. You're going to go up my nostril.
And while you're on the internet contemplating how to not get chopped up and snorted, also be sure to find us on all of our social media channels.
We're on Facebook. You can just search Beauty and the Bitch or B&B. We're on YouTube. We have every single episode of the podcast.
Okay, we are missing like 1 or 2.
Morgan, why are you calling me out in front of all these people?
It's just facts of life.
I'm going to chop you up and snort you.
Oh,
jeez Louise.
Okay.
And of course, we forget to mention this sometimes, but we do have a blog. It's on WordPress. You can just search Beauty and the Bitch WordPress or Beauty and the Bitch blog. And actually, on that blog, we have an RSS feed with truly every single episode of the pod.
Truly, that's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and if you're on Instagram hitting us up on Beauty and the Bitch, definitely check us out personally. You can find me at Morganized Mess.
And you can find me at Parker_Homestead.
So holler at your girls.
And your boy. Oh, girls, that's me too. Oh, yeah, me too, girls.
All right, well, we love you, babies.
Okay, bye, babies. I'm going to go chop something up and snort it.
Do you have a home? Beauty in the Bitch.
You
look.
Beauty in the Bitch.
Yeah.
Beauty in the Bitch.
Bitch.
Bye.